Hello.
Hello. It's the
Well,
podcast.
It is the podcast. Do you want to explain what's happening this week?
Well, we both kind of made a bit of a mistake, mainly me. We couldn't get McAllister on. Start that again.
No, and we've done it so many
Right.
times. We couldn't get McAllister on. We said last week we'd get McAllister on. There was an issue with times.
I got the times mixed up.
Yeah.
We said we could get someone on this week. We couldn't.
We couldn't. It's Thursday. Jamie, you've got a birthday.
I've got a birthday coming up. Not my birthday.
His birthday party you need to go to. So he's busy. I had loads of work. And that's something we did talk about. And because we tried to record this numerous times, is that we're not trying to say this is the hardest thing in the world. This is really pleasant, really nice thing to do. But we have life to fit it into and all these kind of things. So we sort of accept that, and it's really hard and a lot of effort to find somebody.
Yeah.
We have quite a few ideas that we're working on. It's just how do we deliver them without being this kind of fetishy kind of thing,
Yeah.
like, hey, look at this person.
Yeah.
And, it's more really trying to understand who they are and where that kind of struggle. Not necessarily an expert in the field, but a normal human being, and what they go through. That's the whole premise of it, and giving a platform to people.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ever compromise on that, and I think all of us agree on that. And that's the main focus point, I think. But we were saying how it is really hard to find these people because out of, say you want to talk to one person in mind, like we had tarot. Say the first person we tried to find was Yin, tarot reader.
Yeah.
We had to message so many tarot readers. Most of them said no.
Yeah.
Then you have to nail down a time, and then most of them disappear. So a lot of people have been in and out and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I'm very interested in talking to any person who wants to talk. The only thing is, people have to want to talk.
Yeah, and have to want to talk about what their thing is or their story, basically.
Yeah.
Need to be willing.
Even if it's a bit of a therapy thing, not that we're trained in any way, but they need to be willing to answer questions.
Yeah.
But I don't think we don't interrogate people. So all that said, we sort of accepted and tried to turn it into something good that we don't have anybody to talk to, rather. But we do have ourselves. We're not that interesting. I would never claim to be extremely interesting, but I thought I'm just finishing up a degree in music, and I'm going to go specialise in the same subject at a master's level. Jamie's a musician. How would you define yourself? Musician.
A person who likes music. No, I play music.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
A guitarist.
A guitarist. Yeah.
Yeah. Ambition. Even if you would want to make money from it.
That'd be ideal.
Who wouldn't?
And anything. I'm just happy to have like a little, like I say, like instrumental things doing, like what's been on the podcast, that one.
Yeah, that's something we never spoke about. That the first song is sung by me, the introduction, which is on a little EP of mine, and the second one, the outro song, is instrumental by our very own Jimi, and you can listen to them. They're linked off in the bio, the full version. And if you guys are interested in that, go give it a shout. Sorry if you can hear noises. That's the guitar. So we do have albums we want to talk about for fun, but actually for fun, we're surrounded by instruments here. I just thought we could jam a little song.
Yeah.
What song? I had a few in mind.
Go
on. Say Yes.
Say Yes.
There's no way I could sing that.
Yeah, I have to sing it. Just do melodies, one of us, maybe.
I'll give it a go.
You give it a go.
Do you want to play?
Yep.
Do you remember it?
I think so.
Should we see how long we last? We can't go on forever. And let's accept all fuck ups and everything like that. And I reckon we just go with it.
Alright.
I'm in love with the world through the eyes of a girl who's still around the morning after. We broke up a month ago. I grew up, I didn't know I'd be around the morning after. It's always been wait and see, a happy day, and then you pay. You feel like shit the morning after. Good spin can't come
Skips a bit, but
can't damage stab and balance. Still decide what you want. I'll probably be the last to know. No one says until it shows. See how they want you or they don't. Say yes, I'm in love with the world through the eyes of a girl who's still around the morning after.
skipped like
We like
the whole thing.
Yeah, that was nice. That's the thing. So thanks for enjoying that. It's always fun. I thought it was better than just like a blues jam.
Yeah.
It goes on for half an hour. I mean, I'm always open to that, but yeah. Should we talk about albums?
Sure.
Which are the ones? Because we've already recorded this and we deleted it because it just was a bit too messy. So it's a bit. Let's start with the ones we picked out. Let's just say our recommendations.
Yeah.
So what's your recommendation?
My recommendation is Jimi Hendrix Experience, Axis Borders Love. Mainly because obviously its impact on me from a youngster.
You just recommend.
Just
think it's good.
I just think it's good. You should just check it out.
About the album, just top to finish.
Top to
Would
finish.
you just put it on?
I can just put it on. Let it roll.
Would you recommend doing that, or would you say, yeah, maybe listen to Little Wing first?
So I mean, if you're on a YouTube, just wanting
good
to
point.
go through some songs, there's some highlights. A Little Wing, If 6 Was 9, One Rainy Wish, Castles Made of Sand, Boulders Love. The list goes on.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the standouts for me.
Yeah.
As they would be for most, I imagine.
It's a bit of a classic, isn't it?
It is.
Definitely standout songs on it.
Yeah.
My recommendation was Living in the Material World by George Harrison. I just think it's a masterpiece it's one of my favourites after All Things Must Pass, which is a great album. It followed it up, I think 2 years later, maybe a year and a half, something like that. It's a bit of a deep one, bit of a sad, deep one. I think if you did listen to it, you'd understand. And I just think there's a lot of good songs on there that don't get enough. I suppose, Give Me Peace, give me love, give me peace on earth. I suppose that's a bit of a standout. I think a lot of people know that, maybe.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think top to finish, it's a good album. You should check it out. And we spoke a lot more in detail about things.
Yeah.
So, what's the latest album you listened to?
The latest album I listened to.
Axis Borders Love, do you mean?
No, John Frusciante actually. Will to Death.
What year is that?
2004, Oh no,
Oh,
I
really?
don't know. I can't think for me.
Just as
I'm gonna have to Google it right now.
that's all right. I can. What did you like about? What is it? What kind of stuff is it?
It's similar to Curtains.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know you know that one.
I'm a big fan of Curtains.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed that. It's a bit of a strange one, but I do quite like Curtains.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to that. There's some a bit more experimental, I guess, than Curtains, but even Curtains got that. So, well,
I just like his voice. I like it when
2004, right?
Okay, yeah. I like when his singing voice.
Yeah, I think he doesn't get enough praise for that, to be honest.
Do you think?
Maybe.
I don't think he's mental. He's not a crazy bit of singer.
No, but I think he's. No disrespect to Anthony Kiedis, but he's a lot better at singing than Anthony Kiedis.
Give it away, give it away. Nah, I feel that's mean.
For what they are.
Yeah.
It works.
That's a good album. What am I on about? I was thinking of the album. Your album. What is it? So it's kind of like Curtains.
Similar, yeah. Kind of. I guess.
What, in like instrumentation and stuff?
Yeah. Like I said, there's some a bit more not electronic, but more electric guitars and stuff than Curtains had. I know Curtains was very.
There's a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Acousticy.
Yeah. But yeah, it's. Yeah.
Would I know any songs? Would people know songs?
Just having some technical difficulty.
It's alright. This episode's already gone off the rails.
Far Away. It's a big one from it.
Far Away.
The title of it as well, The Will to Death.
I don't know if I've heard any.
No. I doubt. No. But yeah.
Last album I listened to. In full, that was a new one. That's what I meant, sorry. So had you listened to that before?
A new one. Oh, no.
Did you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not like okay. I meant in a new one.
Right. A new one.
Right. We'll cut this out.
Yeah.
So what's the last album you listened to? Panic, filled with panic.
Yeah, I can't think.
I'll explain the rules. The rules. So last new album you listened to.
New album list. I'm not like you in that I search for new stuff all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes I tend to stick in my own confines and tell somebody.
Confines.
Tell somebody.
Like, oh, what about? And then you go deep into that.
Yeah.
I get you. I feel a lot of people are like that.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm like that to an extent.
Yeah. For the top of the head, I really can't think of the last new album I listened to full.
If I'm thinking of the last albums that I've introduced you, that I know you've listened to, Mark Kozlek's solo, self-titled.
Yeah.
Could that be one?
That could. That's
Did
definitely
you listen?
one of the recent ones.
Last one I listened to in full, because I've been really snowed under. I try to listen to something new every day, and that sounds very. Often it doesn't happen, but there'll be days where I just like constantly listen to new music and discover like 8 or different bands or artists from all over the place. Even from artists that I already know, and then because I was listening, like yesterday I was listening to. It's Paul McCartney and Youth. Paul McCartney released albums under the Fireman, and he's done this a lot of different alter egos and stuff. And he started in 1993, I believe. And no one knew. I guess it was kind of. I'm not sure when it all came out, but he admitted that he was in 2007, I think. Maybe, or 8, I think around there, and I think people were slowly figuring out, but it certainly wasn't well known. His name wasn't on it, especially the first 2. I'm pretty sure, and then it was the first 2, so people didn't know until then. Then he came out and said it was him, and it's very experimental. and I was listening to, I think it's like Strawberries, Ships. I'd have to get it up. Apologies to any. I'm a massive McCartney fan. I just can't for the life of me remember it, but they'll know which one I mean. And it's very strange. It's very well. It's not. I quite like it, but it's kind of has elements of like EDM and stuff, and or maybe no Rushes. Because I listened to them back to back, so I think Rushes. I think that was maybe the first or second one. Oh, I can't from that. But it's very experimental. And then the only reason I mention that is because he worked with Youth, which was he was the bass player for some like a metal band, pretty much, and they work together, and there's they do really cool stuff together. And obviously he's a bassist. McCartney is McCartney, but known as a bassist to some extent. Yeah. And so it was really cool. And there's these tracks where McCartney would be on drums and him on bass, and it's just very strange. Not strange, but very, I don't know. But anyway, they did for Peter Blake. Peter Blake designed the Sgt. Pepper cover. Right. And he's a well-known artist. I don't know if you've heard of him. I think you might have seen some stuff. He's a well-known British artist. And Peter Blake was doing this thing, so he asked Paul McCartney to do like a soundscape for Liverpool or something. So he used things from like, I think it's called like Plastic Beetle or something, or maybe that's one of the tracks. He used stuff from Beatles outtakes and stuff, and he remixed it with his own stuff and ambient stuff, and he did a string of like classical albums. Right. So he remixed it with that kind of stuff, and it was so bizarre. And there's tracks where he's just walking around Liverpool, talking things, and and saying like, oh, what do you think of the Beatles, and stuff, and remixing it with that. It's really astonishing. I think it's called Bison, one of the tracks, and so I was listening to that. But admittedly, I'd listened to some of it before, so it doesn't really count because he's one of those in the McCartney archive. It's not what we know as McCartney very much. Some, I think, some are, but there's a lot of stuff that's like, whoa, you weren't really. You don't associate that with McCartney. Right. So like his classical work as well. Yeah. So if not that, then the latest album I listened to was The Score by the Fugees. Okay. It's such a classic album that I'd never listened to it before. It's Killing Me Softly and Ready or Not. Here I Come. Yeah.
When I first saw you get it, I thought, I've heard of them, but I don't know anything.
Yeah.
But then they play songs, I'm like,
it's not because all three of them have their own career and they're all stuff. So I think it wasn't like they were nobodies. So it was like a cream thing, these all the three well-known musician people put together, and rappers and singer-songwriters and producers and stuff, and they got together, and it was a massive. I don't know if it was a massive hit overnight or gradually, but definitely like Killing Me Softly and Ready or Not and a lot of songs. But other than that, I think they only have like 2 albums including that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I don't think, to my knowledge, I don't think they've done much. I haven't researched it a lot. But I listened to that in full and then got it on. Because I'll listen to a lot of new music, but then quickly... You just move on, and like, not for me. Yeah. I'll give it a go. I'll give at least a song or two a go of artists that I know. Yeah. It's when you get deeper and deeper into it, then you find out that artist likes that artist, and that artist likes that artist, and that artist produced that artist thing. So you go and listen to all their stuff, and the thing that you hear more bad music than you do good.
I think so.
Yeah.
Say if you're on Spotify, you troll through a lot of shit before you get to something really speaks.
Well,
shit. I mean,
anything
that's very
shuffling.
Subjective, but...
Yeah, anything shuffling. Even Spotify has some things that like Apple Music doesn't, and vice versa, and YouTube has things that it's a whole massive well of music that you kind of have to stick to your own little confines, like you said. Otherwise, you just get lost.
Yeah.
You know. But I would recommend those two albums, the McCartney stuff, the Harrison stuff. What about?
Would you recommend the Fugees?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, that album.
Yeah.
That because I obviously knew Killing Me Softly, but I never listened to the whole album.
Yeah.
I listened to it. I downloaded it before going out on a walk or going to uni or something, wherever I was going. I just listened to it in full, and it's just well put to. It's just good.
Yeah.
It's not like amazing, but it's just good. I'll just recommend it. There's a lot of elements in there that are nice for me. A bit you can. It's fun, you know.
Yeah.
Some stuff that people might not like. It's just a bit of not a throwback because I wasn't born then, but you know you can tell it.
Yeah.
It's in that time period, and it's.
Where are they from?
I couldn't tell you. New York, maybe. I think.
Sounded quite New York.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think I don't even know their names fully, but yeah, I'd recommend that. Nice.
Cool.
So anything else that we want to talk about?
I don't know if we'd wanted to talk about, I don't know, Either Or something, since we played Say Yes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is very improvised.
Yeah. Well, what would you mention about it?
I guess just put it in the recommendations.
Well, all I would
if
say...
no one knows that.
If no one knows Either Or, I would go listen to it. I reckon I'll know a song or two.
Yeah.
Something that's worth mentioning, I'd let the music speak for itself, and if it's not for you... How would you describe it? Genre-wise?
Genre-wise? People, I don't know, it's...
Think Either Or, though. Just
Either
Either
Or.
Or. Don't think of the whole catalogue of Elliott. So it's an album by Elliott Smith. Just Either Or. Just based on the songs of Either Or. How would you describe it?
Folky, kind of alternative rock kind of sounds, some of them. Say like Cupid's Trick and...
245 towards the end.
Yeah.
Speed Trial, maybe. A little bit.
Ballad of Big Nothing.
Yeah, some stuff like that.
Alternative sounding, I guess.
Yeah. It's very lo-fi.
Yeah.
Home recorded. It was recorded in girlfriends' bedrooms and basements and stuff, and they're mixed by Larry Kane. Who was a producer for Kill Rock Stars, maybe. Yeah. Or a friend, I don't know. Or associated with Kill Rock Stars. It was on Kill Rock Stars label. Came out in 1997. A lot of the songs were used for Good Will Hunting.
Yeah. And from other stuff as well.
Just one. No Name
Was
number
it
3.
just that?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the rest from Either Or.
Oh.
And all that I would mention as well. If you like that, I would go listen to New Moon.
Yeah.
Which was released after his death in 2007, which is just outtakes and demos from that time period. Yeah. He was incredibly prolific during that time, and a lot of it. There's even a song on New Moon called Either Or, and that was supposed to be on the album, but it just didn't make the cut. And it's an incredible song, and it fits it. This is the thing; these songs fit into that time period, and a lot of Elliott. Later on, things got... He would experiment a lot. Like, I love XO. It's probably my favourite album of his. Yeah. It's just a perfect blend of things for me, what I like from music, and it's just astonishing. But then, even Figure 8. He was getting a bit louder, a bit more experimental.
You can hear that, though, through in the progression
There's
of the album.
there is definitely progression. I think that's what's so enjoyable to listen.
Yeah.
You start, you know... what's his first album called again?
Roman Candle.
I was going to say that, but I was like, well, no, it's not. But yeah, if you start with Roman Candle, then the self-titled progression there, you know, of he's starting to gel things together better, and it becomes, you know, it's longer as well. To Either Or, to XO, to Figure 8, and even from Figure 8 to A Basement on a Hill, which he was working on when he died.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would go listen to New Moon if you're a fan of Either Or, because he was just horrifically prolific during that time period. It's just beyond impressive to me. Yeah,
it's unfathomable.
Yeah, and it was just really good. That's amazing. what's that? How does either or go again? So I've got a little chord organ here. This might be quite loud. No.
It is A, isn't it? It starts.
Oh. Yeah. And that's called either or. You should go listen to the original.
Yeah, didn't do it justice,
but that was, yeah. I wish that was on the album. It has this just really, it is just a hi-hat.
Yeah, all the way through.
Or something like that. I don't know if it's that rhythm, but it's just so simple. And that's the thing with Elliott. There's a lot of space, but you don't think, yeah, just whack some synths in there, whack some guitars in there. Like, oh yeah, do the harmony. It just
use the space as another instrument.
Yeah, it's left in, and it really works, and kind of has a bit of a weird, hauntingly pretty.
Yeah,
I think it's just very pretty.
Yeah, such a good term to use as music with.
Yeah,
hauntingly beautiful.
Yeah, it's very pretty, but not like Jeff Buckley pretty.
No,
you know, not like this pristine thing. Nothing against Jeff Buckley, but this kind of...
It's just very real.
Yeah. His voice kind of wobbles a little bit, but he's in key, fine. It's a bit above his register, obviously. He's kind of... But it's not quite like Neil Young, either. His voice was just kind of like that, but it sounds like that. I would listen to... I Didn't Understand, which is on XO. It closes XO album, which is 1998 album, just after, like the day Either Or came out, he was already working on XO. He was just really
shows up for
yeah, he was just really grafting for it, really. And I wish I could see him live, but he's gone now.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, his death is a bit strange, but I don't want to fantasize about that.
Yeah.
But he took his own life.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard to hear that in his music, really. If you want to see that, you know, when you know that he killed himself, and then you go listen to it, you can easily hear that. But you can hear a lot of joy there as well, and it's very pretty. And that's why I didn't understand those harmonies are in. He's in 4-part harmony with himself, which is incredibly difficult to do, and very, very talented, but very humble. You know, because he could easily go shred or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not impressive. You know, he would much rather take a melody rather than some fast technique. He would much rather have a melody that sticks around. That's what I do like about him.
And like you say, he doesn't just fill spaces. Like
no,
his own
leave,
quote,
yeah.
Just listen to where the song wants to go. I forgot what it was exactly. But
I think I didn't really say it. I think he just said it to a friend.
Yeah,
and a friend was saying,
and
a friend was just saying, well, just listen to where the song wants to go.
Yeah.
It already wants to go somewhere. I doubt he said it in those words, but
no, yeah, but
if you listen to it, they flow really nicely. They're not jumping everywhere.
No.
They throw everything in there. Kind of needs to be in there.
It's very fluent.
Yeah. I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Sorry for the weird jumps around and music all over the place and chatting about things, but it was fun to do. We really like talking about music. I would get much more in depth, but I'm just conscious of time. Yeah. So if you like this kind of thing, maybe leave a comment. We've never really asked that before, but if you like this kind of thing, maybe leave a comment. Or if you want to hear more kind of things, if you want to hear less music and all these kind of things, feedback would be great. But we're going to just keep doing what we enjoy doing. Love it to have much more of an in-depth conversation. I'm just conscious of time and at the moment, and I'd love to get more in depth with theory kind of thing, but not an analysis, just some things that you can throw out that are interesting
Yeah.
to mention. And to talk about more history of
Yeah.
albums, not the history of albums,
But just do a bit more.
more of a context to an album that
Yeah.
make it, because like I said, I study music, and I guess the thing that they do ingrain into you is that context, or at any university, any kind of higher education, they do kind of ingrain into you that context is important, and study is important, and to articulate yourself is important, and to be critical is important. Don't just take things how they are, question things. And I'd love to apply that more, to have more context of things, which is kind of what the podcast is,
Yeah.
understanding people's
Yeah.
context. And although these albums and music doesn't exist, right? It sounds very strange. Like, oh yeah, very trippy, man. But it's not a record. It's not a sheet music. It kind of exists somewhere else, and it's ever evolving, and it always changes, and that's why we go see artists' lives, But we can get into a whole debate of consumerism and capitalism and things like this. But the whole point is that there's context to these albums. Like, where were they written? What was going on in Dylan's life when he was writing "Blowing in the Wind"?
Yeah.
That story of Dylan writing "Blowing in the Wind." He was in London in, I think, 1963 or 1962,
Right.
and he had a part in a play, right? And never saw the light of day. He just had a script because he got recast.
Right.
But he was spoken part as an actor in London. But instead, for the play, he was used just to play music in the background and play the odd song. I think it was recast as like Red or something, or Bill or something like that. And it's really interesting because you can't see this play anymore. It wasn't recorded or anything, but it's we have the script and we know it was there. And in between takes or whatever, I don't know if it was for TV. I think it was for TV. But we don't know where the tapes are. Back in, it's just, maybe it'll be found one day. And in between takes or intermission or whatever, the guy went up to Bob and was like, "What are you working on?" He was like, "Oh, it's just a little song," and it was "Blowing in the Wind." That he'd just written, and he was just working on it, and it was just how many roads, yeah. And that's just fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And like with Elliott Smith during Either Or, he was a painter and decorator. He painted and decorated, and he was doing all these shitty jobs to get by and things like this. And I think context, it might not matter. That's the thing. It's a whole debate. You can enjoy music without knowing that kind of thing.
Yeah, of course.
But it's interesting. It's kind of fun. It's kind of nice knowing. And I'd love to get more and more into that. A podcast that I would love to recommend, if anybody hasn't heard it, is Take It Away. It's kind of dedicated to Paul McCartney, but it really goes in depth of like what's going on, and it's like taking it album by album. I'd love to do something like that. Really get into like an album, and be like, that song was written there and recorded here, and that. I know it seems a bit stupid.
I don't think
but like a little bit of and listen to a little bit of the song and. Like, we played a little bit and just be like, that's kind of cool. What's that about, It's just fun.
Let's just treat this as a taster.
A taster. A little bit of experiment. So if you like it, if you want to hear more like that, let us know. But we're going to have to go now.
Yeah, it's getting on a bit.
Alright, thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking out this long, if you sticked out this long. We've already said all the apologies, so we won't keep going. So we'll hopefully see you next week with McAllister.
And Mackay, no.
Maybe not Mackay.
Maybe not Mackay, actually.
Yeah.
That might not happen.
Whoever's here is here. Bye-bye.
Bye.